Hi. Hello. Welcome. Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you. It's evening for me. We're doing a little something different today. I figured you all might be interested in learning a little bit about stream assets, or at least mine, and the process that I went through making them, changing them 500 times before I was happy, and maybe a little bit about, I don't know, my personal process for design and all that jazz. But yeah, so as I go along, I'm happy to answer questions if you have them, or if you end up watching this as a VOD later, not live, toss them down in the comments and I'll be happy to answer whatever I can. Hope the volume is okay. Someone let me know if it isn't anytime during the stream. Yeah. There's not much more to say, I think, before we jump into it, aside from thank you again for everyone that watched me play Hugh. And I'll talk about upcoming streams at the end of this one instead of at the beginning, because that makes more sense in my brain. Just don't let me forget. Someone remind me. So I think we're gonna go. We're gonna pop up. Okay, so I put things in order for myself. I didn't really plan a lot of this. I just kind of threw some boards together. They're not beautiful. They aren't meant to be. They're just there to explain things. But I kind of put them in an order that I thought made sense, starting with my logo. So I'll talk a bit about that design and why it is what it is and all that fun stuff. So, papow. Here it is. I put the fonts that I used in some of these, not all of them. I don't think all of them have font information to share. Anyway, so this is my logo. I made it myself. Like I did all of this, except for my model. I know things might be a little laggy tonight, by the way. YouTube has been doing a thing, but that's fine. We're just gonna work through it. So when it comes to my logo, it was the first thing that I designed, and that's why I wanted to share it first as well. I'm actually really proud of it, and it's kind of the backbone of where everything else branched from. It's like the trunk of the tree. I wanted to do something with like a Victorian style. I figured that went with my character design, as well as just it's an aesthetic that I really like. I did what's the word I'm looking for? I didn't exactly go for anything too grand. I simplified it, is what I would say. I took the Victorian style of like some of this branding that you see on the right side on the bottom. That was just a few. I looked at so many different things when creating my own, but these are a few of the ones that I kind of drew inspiration from, particularly when creating my own logo. um, the moon phases are something that I wanted to incorporate because when creating my character, I drew a lot of inspiration also from, I guess, just celestial things. That was something that I wanted to incorporate in the design. I don't know if that is obvious in my design as it is, but it is still a theme that I wanted to carry through when it comes to lore, maybe. When it comes to magic, the theme is celestial for me. So that I wanted to draw, I wanted to draw attention to that in my design. And also, the words are difficult. Streamer brain is real tonight. The alchemy part of my lore as well, I wanted to incorporate that, and so that's why I popped out this little part here to zoom in to show you the vials in the center part, between Victor and Blackwood in there. It's pretty tiny in the logo itself. It's probably not something you really notice at the size that it normally is during my streams, but it's something that I really liked. I thought it was pretty fun. I drew that idea from, if you look at the Kinship Collective tattoo logo on the bottom right, and on the top left part of that, it has that part with the cutouts. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I don't see that a lot. I like it. What can I do? So I figured I would make that my own. The Blackwood font is actually called, it's Celestial Typeface. Celestial Typeface. And I purchased that. It is not free. But when I was looking at fonts for what I wanted to use for my logo, I looked at that one and I said, that's the one. That's the one I want. It's got all the right curves in all the right places. And I ended up using Times New Roman in there as well, because I wanted something typewriter-y, a little bit vintage, but also very clean, thinner, nice contrast to the fancier celestial type, and something that I can use for other parts of my assets, I thought, which I do, which you'll see if you haven't already noticed. Actually, I don't know that I put any of those in here, but maybe I'll show you later, because it's just in one of my assets. It's my gaming assets. But yeah, so the logo is just the backbone of the whole operation. Everything I designed stemmed from this, but it took multiple steps to get them to where they are, whereas the logo was something that I kind of went into knowing exactly what I wanted and executed it. I looked at a lot of vintage wine labels and such as also as inspiration. Yeah, I had a lot of fun making it. I'm also, oh yeah, I would like to mention that the color, the gold in this, is a texture overlaid over top of the lines. So it's an image that I like punch out into it. And that is also a theme that I've carried through in some of my other assets that I will try to remember to mention as we go along. So you can see how the part that I zoomed in on here for the flasks, that's black. The whole logo essentially is black like that, and then I just lay things into it, so I can change it up at any time with whatever texture or color I might want later, just to make things easy on myself. I don't have fancy transitions or like a video or whatever for this. I'm just gonna make one go away and bring in the next. So, ta-dong, there we are. These are my social media banners, which actually ended up being a step ahead of the game of everything else. Even though I designed these soon after the logo, and just when I was setting everything up, they ended up having the color scheme that I went with for the other assets long before the other assets did. So I didn't have to redo them to match everything. I redid everything else to match them. Even though that wasn't intended originally. I just used, you know, my model itself for my YouTube banner and my logo, and then I threw in a nice splatter brush, and I laid in that same, it's actually the same texture background that is in my logo. You can see kind of how it goes from light to dark in the gold as you go across, and on both of these actually. So that's how you can tell it's the same texture image. I really love that gold. I'm not gonna lie. The Twitter banner is the one that's below it. I know it's like super nerdy, a little, maybe even a little, dare I say, cringe, but that's okay, because so am I. I did draw the image for that, the one that looks like its little stamp on there. I did that. It was my first time playing with those tools as well for like tones and stuff, so it was pretty fun to do, to play around with. I was pretty happy with it in the end. But I mean, oh, and the background in that, in the bottom one, is also a pattern that came along with the Celestial Typeface when I bought it. It came with a whole like huge file full of different like patterns and pieces of things that you can put together to make different like filigree and stuff like that. So super cool, definitely worth it when I bought the font, because I wasn't expecting a bonus, but I got it. And I used it, and I will probably continue to use it because it'll save me a lot of time and effort. And that's what tools are for. On to the next. These are some of the backgrounds that I went through before I settled on the ones that I have now. When I first started, the one on the top left, that diamond thing, originally, even before this one, I actually had just the diamonds before I put that, what would you call that, carpety texture behind it. Never gonna unsee that as a carpet now, thanks. And then I thought that was a little too busy, so I went for stripes, and which was still too busy. But also the problem I was having with these was that I didn't stand out from the background enough. The heater just turned on. If you hear that in my microphone, I'm very sorry, because I do. So I really wanted to go with blue. I thought that would be a nice soothing background color, but I just blended into it way too much, especially my hair, which is lovely and should not be blocked by background. And then the bottom left one was after I had made that design, which I will talk about in a while. I'll talk about what that is and why it is and all that fun stuff. But I tried to make like we're going back to the carpet idea. I tried to make something that looked a little like velvet, which is not really what you make a carpet out of, but I think it ended up looking like shag carpeting. I didn't like the texture that it ended up with, and even after adding the pattern, I thought it was still a little too flat and also dark, and it just didn't have the effect that I wanted it to. And then I thought maybe I should go the other way. Maybe I should make something really light. I should make a light background. And I tried going with red on the bottom right. I tried going with red, a light red, simple pattern, nothing too complicated, but I just didn't like it. I don't think it's a bad design. I think it's fine, but I just didn't like how it looked. And that's what's important, right? I want to like it. It's mine. So these are just a few of the many, many variations of color and texture that I tried to work with before I ended up settling on, I'll make that go away. Before I ended up settling on this one. The black and gold, or gray and gold, I think that it ties into my design and I stand out from it, and I made something that kind of draws the eye across the screen, across the screen, and draws you into me a little bit. So, and then I added a little bit of texture so that it didn't look too flat. Yeah, I'm still happy with this design, and I looked at a lot of other streamers' assets to sort of come up with this idea. I should have shared more. Actually, do I have more? I do. Okay, I'll talk a little bit more about some more of the steps that I took to get here later, after I get into a couple of other things. Okay, we're gonna skip one and go into that one. We'll go back to the other one that I was gonna plan to do next. This is why you plan ahead. Always plan ahead. This one. Okay. So the bottom left one is what I used for my debut stream. You can see that the background in that is a little bit similar to what I have going right now. And I liked it. I'll be honest with you, I don't like the glow on the designs in the corners. I played around with that and I decided to keep it, but I'm not that happy with it. Whatever. It'll evolve just like everything else. I looked at a lot of different streamers' assets and to get what I wanted. I tried a lot of different things, a lot of different pieces in different places, different parts on and off and all around. It was a lot. It was a lot. So the top left was actually one of the very first things when I was starting to come up with the information for my debut. This is one of the first things that I had come up with. So you see I have that striped background I was talking about, and the top right, I know some of this is like layered over each other strangely. It's not, like I said, it's not supposed to be pretty, it's just there to be informative. So the top right, where it says the OG debut assets, that was it. So instead of Victor's blackboard, you just had a gold frame, and chat was also supposed to go in a small gold frame, and then I had that on top of that diamond background. And then the second try was the top left in total. That was my very first debut stream setup that I had come up with, compared to the bottom one, which is what the final one was. So you can see it. Some of the things stayed similar, some of them changed quite drastically. The placement of things, the sizing of things, readability, I think. Even some of the images themselves and on the... okay, alright, I'm getting ahead of myself, I'm getting so confused. I'm not used to talking about all this stuff, I need to get better at this. So, the blackboard on the top left, you see this wooden frame with the gold. I liked the idea, but I didn't like it in execution when I put everything all together. It's something that I do like, taking real textures and putting them in with geometric design. So I like the idea of the wooden frame, but I just didn't think it fit. I didn't think it fit very well for what I was doing. But at the same time, you can also see at the bottom the Twitter, I call them widgets, the little Twitter piece there on the bottom. I ended up keeping that, and that's the style that I ended up using for all of my widgets. That you can see that also in the image on the right, which was one of my first gaming design. Yeah, one of my first gaming screen ideas. So that's, yeah, those didn't change much at all. You can even see that they have the double frame around them like the original debut assets did, because I still liked that, and I still think they match the design quite well. So that saved me some effort. Putting the logo in the bottom left inside of the outer edge of the observatory, I'm gonna call it a pattern. It's not exactly the right word. It's not like a logo, because I have a logo, but yeah. So you can see that on the top right screen, that first one, not the first, but one of the first gaming ones that I did, I have the logo in the bottom left inside of that outer ring from that observatory design. And I still kind of like how that looks, but it definitely got in the way. It definitely took up too much of the gaming screen. I would have had to shrink it down, and then that would just be less dynamic for watching when I play a game. And that's the whole point, is to see the game, not to see my big honkin' logo in the corner. I mean, I do want you to look at my big honkin' logo. Look at that thing. Look at that thing in the corner up there. It's beautiful. But yeah, so that's, you can kind of see my process here. All of this, I should mention that I am afraid of commitment when it comes to these. So every piece of these, everything is on a separate layer. Every color that goes behind something is on a separate layer. And I can move everything, turn it off and on, play around. And yeah, and I do a lot. I spend hours just clicking things on and off, moving them around, saving them in different folders inside of a Photoshop document so that I can then duplicate that folder and compare it with one click. It's way more work than most people do, I think. But I can't help it. Until I'm 100% happy, I keep every idea in case I need to go back to it. But I can talk a little bit about the observatory pattern there. If I can move myself a little bit here. Yeah, there you go. Now you can see it. That's what it's based off of. The Beijing Astronomical Observatory. It's like an ancient what's the word? Pre-telescopic observatory. And I thought that it looked so cool. And I thought that kind of thing has like a bit of a fantasy element to it. And it's related to the stars. And I thought, wow, what a cool design that brings, you know, kind of like fantasy and also science and magic all together. So I wanted to create a design around that, and that's how I came up with the pattern design. I took that ancient Beijing, I guess I'll call it like a relic, and I tried to make it a little more modern without making it too modern. I tried to bring kind of that Victorian flair to it with the filigree, and then the piece on the outsides mirrored, and making it a little bit symmetrical without being entirely symmetrical. Is it entirely? No, it's not entirely symmetrical. Good job, me. But that was a really, really fun and also really challenging design to do. But it was, I think it's one of the funnest things that I've ever put together, and also very, very confusing. There's so many layers just in that, believe me. You don't want to see that document. What else do we have? Okay, so I'm going back now to the intro and outro stuff. It's a great word, right? Stuff. So the top left image is the plain background of my intro and outro videos. But it also has a film grain texture over top of it because, like I said, I like using real textures over patterns and other, design elements. So I grabbed some free film grain that you just like layer over something, and then you change the opacity on it to make it have the effect that you want. I put a few different ones that came in that package down here. If you look above the old movie titles, those three, I know I covered up some of it, but the first one was just the one that I ended up using. But then there's some other examples there that you can layer on top of things and make it look grainy, or like you took a picture on an old film camera. Super cool, love it. And like I said, that was free, and it's free for personal and commercial use. So if you need something like this, it's there. Just Google it, you'll find it. It's easy. So when it came to designing what I wanted the intro and outro to look like, I really wanted to go for an old movie feel, like just that black and white kind of, I don't want to say simple, but like, you've got a pattern, then you've just got this bold bold text. So you know exactly what you should expect. That's what I feel like. So I, again, put all the fonts that I ended up using here. I used the Celestial Typeface, but I didn't want to use that for the main part of this. I thought it looked better just to bring my name in there to kind of match the logo a little bit, but I didn't go full logo in it. It was too much. And then I used fonts here that I didn't use. Excuse me, I had a hiccup. I used fonts here that I didn't use anywhere else. The antique book cover font that, you know, for the presents and produced. The Chippewa Falls, I think that is a font that comes with Adobe or Windows. I could be wrong. I might have found that font. I should have looked that up so that I could remember, but I didn't. It's too late. But the bottom one, the Scriptina that I used for thank you for watching, that is definitely a font that should be installed for everyone. But when it comes to fonts, I think there's a lot of good choices already at your disposal. If you have any kind of, I guess, design app or program, it probably has a decent number of fonts in there that are actually quite nice. But I like font shopping because when I'm thinking of something specific and I'm looking at a bunch of different examples of that thing, and then I go look through fonts, I want what I'm looking for to pop out at me. I can look through lists and lists and lists, and then suddenly I'll stop and be like, that's the one. That one right there. That's the one I need. Just like I did for the one for my logo, for the Celestial Typeface. I just, that was what I wanted. I saw it and I was like, that's the one. It just also happened to be called Celestial when that was a theme that I was working with. So bonus points. When it came to using these fonts, I looked at a bunch of old movie titles, like the ones on the bottom left, and how they were layered and what information was on them and where, and I just wanted to kind of have that same effect. My original idea, instead of having it playing like I do now, was to have it more so that you could see the film roll moving. But once I put that together, I actually didn't like it. I spent a lot of time working on layering that up and making it move. Oh, hi Misty, welcome. I'm moving through this entirely too fast. This is actually my last slide. Because I didn't prepare, and then I'm talking really fast, I think. But yeah, I'm talking about making my intro and outro videos. Oh, thank you. Which one? There are many. Which font do you mean? I have them listed here. Yeah. Old movie titles was definitely the look that I was going for with my intro and outro, and I think I did pretty well. I threw in some nerd stuff. I threw in some nerd stuff in there because I'm a nerd. Oh, thank you. You'll rewatch it? That's awesome. I feel like there are so many things I'm forgetting to say. Celestial Typeface. Yeah, that I purchased that font and I love it. I specifically sought out that font and it came with a bonus, which you'll see. I talk about it earlier when you watch the VOD. So when it came to actually making the intro and outro movies, it was also my first time using After Effects. So I taught myself a bit of the program, and Google helped me with everything that I needed to make my dream become a reality, because Google knows all. I knew what you meant. I just wasn't going to say that word. Yeah, my brain is also doing 3 things at once and not able to process all of them or any of them correctly, but that's okay. We're just embracing the scuff here. I've already come to do that. But I would say that learning After Effects was so much easier than I thought. I was so scared. I was so scared to pick up a couple of new programs and do something that I'd never done before. I'd never ever made any kind of video. Not only in After Effects, but ever. Never ever. So I did a crash course. I did some of the built-in what are they called? They have projects for you to start out with that kind of take you through a tutorial of how basic things work. And then I was like, okay, Google, tell me how to do this. And then I did that. And I know it's like this super simple thing. As I've already said, it was really easy. But I was really proud of myself. I was so proud of myself when I did it. It's like, wow, I can do this. And I actually want to do more with it now. I have learned the very basics of a new program, and now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna level this to 100 fast. So a personal project that I want to do is I want to do some lyric videos. I want to do like fan lyric videos. I've already got an idea of which one I want to do. I don't want to talk about like a bunch of streamers on my stream. So I'm not gonna like name names of people as much as possible, but I have chosen a streamer and I've chosen a song, and I just have to draw some art and then make a video, because that's it. Just 2 steps, right? That's it. Just do it. Also, I know I mentioned this earlier in the stream, but I know YouTube has been doing a thing today, so I apologize if things are a little like laggy or whatever. But that was actually the last thing I had to talk about. It hasn't even been an hour, and that was it. There were so many more things. Did I write notes to myself? Let me look at my sticky notes that I keep on my desk, because that's how I am. Oh, there was a couple of things. Okay. Yeah, that was the sound of my sticky notes. Excuse me. Throw them on the ground. Other things that I want to do. You know what? Why don't we're gonna put that away, and I'm gonna do this. Now we can go here now. Yeah, now we're here. Look. Lovely. You think the latency is just slightly longer? That's good. That's good. That works out. Just slightly is fine. I'm okay with that. So, oh, maybe I can add a topic. Yeah, I did it. I did the thing. Yeah. Which part of my assets is my favorite ones? My logo. No question about it. I'm so proud of myself for my logo. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe just because it's mine. I've done logos and such for other people before, but I've never had one for myself. So my logo, and I really like my little chat asset here, like where I put the chat at here with the border and then the red. I didn't talk about this yet, thank you. I pooled the colors for that and the design, the three, like I don't know, arrows, I guess, from my character design. So I wanted to make something that was related to my design without being too detailed, I guess. And I'm happy with how that turned out. The colors and stuff, I also tried to make things like the colors all match up. So I for numerous things, I actually pulled colors from my model art. It looks very nice, thank you. I think you look very nice. I'm just gonna crawl under a rock now. I feel like I was also going to say something else. What was it? Oh yeah, so assets that I still need to make too. There's still plenty more that I actually feel like I need to make. I need, I'm looking at my list again. I need a screen to like censor things in games. Maybe a full screen version to cover the whole screen. But then also I think that I would just like to make a small asset to cover certain parts of the screen, like a map in Apex or a code in Jackbox, that kind of things. Oh yeah, you picked colors off your model for yours too. By the way, anyone watching this VOD later, check out Misty Wintermelon on Twitch and her assets, because they're great. They're so soft and lovely, and I like them. I feel like mine are very bold. There was a thing. Okay, so censor screen. I also want to do a BRB screen for when I need to mute real quick or step away or pee. And I wanted to do a basic like gorilla stream thumbnail that I can just slap text on at any moment. Dr. Nani, hello! Welcome! Thank you for joining. I'm so excited to see some faces here. I've been talking to myself most of the night, which is also fine. Let's see. Does my handy dandy list say anything else that I need to do? Well, it is my to-do list, so there's plenty, but only some of it is stream related. Those are the only things I have written on it for now when it comes to that. So yeah, that was a very yeah, your end of stream one. Yeah, I do notice that some people use the same thing, and I mean, I could too. I could very easily slap like a be right back on my intro outro background and call it a day. But I don't know. I just like to make things difficult for myself. The more I can do, the better. Maybe part of that is just because I like to challenge myself too, or I get bored. So, I guess I know that you guys might not have been here for the whole time, but do you have any questions about making assets or design or Oh, hello, Freya. Thank you. I hope all of your streams also go well, all of you, everyone. All of my siblings that I love so much. You're all killing it, by the way. But yeah, so any questions when it comes to design process or program or anything? I want to have different arts for my BRB and other screens, but I have to do everything one by one. Yeah, exactly. It just takes time. And it's fine. It's fine to use something as a placeholder too. I mean, I am happy with the assets that I've put together for myself right now, but that doesn't mean that things won't still change, or that I won't get sick of it and want something new, or find something that I don't like and do something entirely different. I went through probably at least 4 stages of redoing everything from top to bottom. What programs do I use to design my logo and such? Well, I use Adobe products, and my logo is mostly done in Illustrator. The fonts and stuff I found, well, one of them is just Times New Roman, but the Celestial Typeface was one that I found when I was looking specifically for something for my logo, with a specific idea in mind. And everything else, all the patterns, and then, hold on, wait, let me. If you do it yourself, you can change it later on. Exactly. That's another benefit to doing it on my own. Let me see. I can. I know how to use OBS. I swear. I promise. I just have to take my time. This, and then we're gonna go. We're gonna go back here. Oop. And then we're gonna pop this bad boy back up. There we go. So I made all of the individual pieces, like the moon phases, I just made with shapes and cutting them out. All the lines I just used Illustrator just makes it so easy. It just makes it so easy. Making things straight and the same length and spreading things evenly, which is actually a tool that I discovered while doing my logo. My first version did not have things spaced evenly. I had eyeballed all of these vertical lines in the part on the top, and it looked like it was a mess. It was a mess. I still liked it, but it was a mess. And then I found that evenly distribute button, and I was like, holy crap, that's a game changer. And now I use it all the time. But yeah, I'm very happy with my logo. And actually, fun story about Illustrator and learning Illustrator. I took a course in school. I took an intro to graphic design. This was a while ago, by the way. I'm old. So I took an intro to graphic design course, and I hated it. The teacher was so awful. We were supposed to learn a whole bunch of different programs, and the teacher couldn't explain how to use any of them. So I did every project we had in the whole class. I did them all in Photoshop because I knew how to use Photoshop. And then my next course after that course was a course specifically in Illustrator, where you were supposed to have known the basics from the other course, but I didn't. And so my teacher, my amazing teacher, sat with me for 2 hours after our very first class when I couldn't figure out how to do our very, very basic project, and taught me how to use Illustrator. Like, just him and me, 2 hours learning the program, and it was suddenly I knew it. I took a whole course before that and learned nothing, and he just was able to just slam it into my face that fast. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I feel like maybe she was a substitute professor and nobody told the class before the class started. I don't think that she knew how to use any of the programs. And if I asked her so many times on projects, like, I don't understand this. How do I do this? And she would point to the instructions and be like that. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. It was bad. It was really... Actually, it made me change my major from graphic design. I decided to drop it, and I went to study English. And then I did a semester of English, and I was like, nah, this ain't for me. And I went back. Hey Ada, what's up? Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. What about you, Misty? What Adobe programs do you use mostly for your assets? Oh yeah, that perfect. It was nice of him to have a private lecture for me. Yeah, he was amazing. I learned so much from him. He went above and beyond for me, and I really appreciate it. And he taught me a lot of things that I don't think most students get to learn. He was a super cool dude. He was one of those teachers that just liked teaching. He didn't need to be a teacher. He didn't need the paycheck. He just loved it. Yeah. Graphic design it's what I do outside of this. I don't do a whole lot of like this kind of design for work, but yeah, graphic design is what I do. Graphic design is my passion, guys. Let's pop back over to the chat. Nope. You like drawing with Photoshop? I do too. I usually I draw by hand first. I really like just pencil on paper, and then I usually try to translate that into Photoshop where it's easier for me. If something is super graphic heavy, like a lot of straight lines, then I'll just go right into Illustrator with it, with a sketch, and then just like plop lines on top of it. But if I'm actually drawing something out and coloring it, I pop things into Photoshop. I actually, excuse me, that was another hiccup. I'm drinking a Red Bull. I forgot what I was saying. I need to drink more Red Bull. I need to drink water, but I'm not going to. I'm going to drink this Red Bull instead. But yeah. So Illustrator and Photoshop. I actually really like using InDesign as well, but I don't do a lot of projects for print, so I don't use it a whole lot. Anybody else have some questions or anything? Happy to keep talking your ears off about nerd design. You need tea, not Red Bull. I already had tea today. I mean, that's not saying I wouldn't drink more tea, but I did have tea this morning. Took some to work with me. Hydrate with water. I have a water bottle right next to the Red Bull. I'll drink it later. I promise. Just vibing to my BGM, sorry. It's quite nice. Speaking of BGM, that is an asset that I did not do myself. I have a link to this one in my description. The intro and outro ones, I don't have a link to those, but they are also from the same site, so. Thank you. Oh yeah, I should at least talk about though, when choosing BGM, I looked for something jazzy to kind of go with the rest of the theme. That I went with like the kind of Victorian design style. And I thought, you know what? Something jazzy would be nice. I like all types of music, but jazz is my favorite. Very cozy. Did I forget to talk about anything? Probably. But I kind of did a speed run, so I don't remember what I said and what I didn't say. So if you guys like watch the VOD, or if you have anything else that you want to comment on, just leave it in the comments, and I could do another stream sometime, or I'll just reply to them there. I would like to do more streams about graphic design and my design process, which I don't think I went into a lot of detail in this stream, but I would rather do that maybe when I can show a bit of it, which I don't know exactly when that will be. I have to see if my desktop can run Photoshop and OBS at the same time because I don't know if it can. But other than that, I don't know. My brain just stopped working entirely. As if it ever does. But yeah, I'd like to, that's what I was talking about. I would like to do some designs on stream, at some time. What type of paper do I like using for sketching? I really like smooth, heavy paper. I don't like anything that bends a whole lot, but I also don't like anything that has a lot of grit to it. Paper that you would use for, like, I mean, it is good for pencil to have a little bit of grit on your paper, but I prefer it smooth. Like, I prefer marker paper over paper made for, like, watercolor or pastel or anything like that. When I do actual traditional art, though, I'll use that kind of paper because usually most of my traditional art is done with charcoal. Yeah, I'd love to do graphic design stream. I'm thinking about, like, I kind of want to do commissions, and I would like to get permission from people I'm doing commissions for to work on their stuff on stream. Do I do traditional art as well? I do. I don't do it a whole lot because I'm scared. I did a lot more of it some years ago. So nowadays I mostly just do sketches by hand. I don't do any, like, full art pieces by hand. But it is fun to dive into now and then. I'll pull out some colored pencils or actually my favorite thing to do, even though I'm not very good at painting or watercolor at all, but I do like to paint with coffee. Yeah. If you've never done that, it's a really fun challenge, and also it smells delicious. I have a very anime style when it comes to traditional art. So it's kind of strange. I don't really have anything on hand to show you when it comes to traditional art or my style in traditional art, but if you ever, like, if you want to look up what kind of style that I draw in with charcoal for traditional, you can look up, like, the Hellboy comic, or, like, what was it? The Amazing Screw-On Head. They have this very, very deep, like, very black shadows, stark contrast kind of style, and that's how I do it. It's more like focusing on the shapes in the shadow or the pure black, and then kind of having the white or, like, grayscale kind of standing out against it. That's what I like to do. But yeah, coffee painting. I'll go into the 7-Eleven down the street and I'll grab a whole bunch of their little sample cups and just fill them up with different flavors of coffee because they all have different shades when you paint with them. I'll just be like, excuse me, I'm just gonna take a sample of each. And the guy at the counter is just like, okay. He doesn't care. I offer to pay. Like, I'm taking all this coffee. You can pay for a cup if you want. But they don't care. I assume it works a lot like watercolor, but I've always been so bad with watercolor that I couldn't really tell you whether that's true or not. Because I can't use watercolor at all. Everything just looks ugly. Red Bull. Gives you wings. Not sponsored. But I could be. Red Bull. Listen. I'd be into that. You paint with tea. Do you really? Does it work the same way? Yeah, watercolor's hard. I think all paint is hard. Maybe that's because I always focus so much. Well, I do focus a lot on lines when I should focus on shapes. I only seem to be able to focus on shapes when I'm using charcoal. It's very strange. Maybe I'll try painting with tea next time. I'll share some traditional art sometime. I'll dig some out, take some photos. If not, then I'll at least share some digital illustrations, which I have but very rarely finish. I did finish one the other day though. Well, I don't know. I might still make some changes. There's always room for improvement. Sigh. I'm still very nervous to be on stream ever. Nice to use a quill with it with tea. Or watercolor. I haven't used a quill in a long time. That is another thing that I did like. I did like drawing with ink as well. It's drawing with ink is a real challenge for me personally. I mentioned earlier that I'm afraid of commitment when it comes to art, so drawing with something that you absolutely cannot erase is a challenge. You gotta make it work. Whatever gets on the paper, you just gotta deal with it. You gotta roll. Using a quill with tea paint. That sounds really interesting. Huh. Maybe I'll get one. I don't own one. I'll play around with it. I'll share it. I'll share it with you guys on Discord. Might be a while though. Yeah, no undo button is terrifying. It plagues my nightmares. I have so many layers in all of my illustrations in Photoshop. So many layers. Oh, hot take though, I do name my layers. I name them and I organize them. And I even sometimes put them in folders. And I name the folders. I may be mad, but there's a method to my madness. I know there's no pressure to share, but I like to share. Even sometimes when I don't like things. You always forget to name it. Yeah, most people are like that. Most people are like that. I hear naming layers is not a common thing. But I have so many things on different layers, and then half the time I'll see, the problem is I don't just have one layer for everything. Sometimes I'll be like, okay, this layer's the left eye and this layer's the right eye, and then I'll merge them together into a layer that they're shared, but I'll keep the original 2 layers just in case I mess something up. You DM'd me the video. I will definitely take a look at it after the stream, for sure. I do think that I will start wrapping up because I'm hungry. I left my salad at work, so I have to find something else to eat tonight. I specifically bought a salad so that I could have a salad for dinner. And then I left it. And I don't work tomorrow, so it'll probably be bad when I go back to work. And that makes me sad. But before I go, I'll talk about upcoming streams. So I did put a poll on Twitter, and I will retweet that after the stream tonight as well. So I have a poll about what game I should play next. I would really appreciate any votes on that. I think it's going to be up through tomorrow for voting. So far, Inscription is winning, which I would be very happy to play for you guys. But I'm happy. I'm open to suggestions, and actually, I bought. I might have purchased too many games the other night. I think about 3 games. What did I buy? I don't remember. The one that I do remember is the one that I started playing. I bought a game called Death's Door. It's like a roguelite, I think would be the genre of it. And I started playing it because I was like not gonna play it on stream. I was just buying it for fun. And now I'm like, wait, this game is hella fun. I should stream it. So I might play that too. I'm not sure if I'll schedule that or if I'm just gonna, because I'm enjoying it so much, I might just play it. I might just guerrilla it. Elf Bro collab, hell yeah, hit me up. we'll work out a time, and whatever we want to do. It'll have to be on PC though, because I don't have a capture card yet. I should write that down on my handy dandy notepad to purchase one. It's on my list. Inscription, yes, I have watched a little bit of it, so I kind of know what it is, and that's why I want to play it so bad, but I haven't watched enough to spoil it for myself. Because I watched a little bit of it and I was like, oh my god, that's how this game works. This is so unique. It's so fun. I'm gonna be so bad at it. You just wait. I'm not sure I'll play through it all at once. It might be one of those ones that I slowly work through, depending on how thrashed I get in it. But yeah, so that's what things are looking like. I'm thinking I'll start Inscription, and I might end up playing a little bit of Death's Door, just whenever I feel like it. I'm gonna try and come up with a variety of different streams. There's so many things that I want to do, but not all of it that I can do right now. Maybe we'll do a Duolingo stream next week. I can show you all that I do, in fact, know some Japanese, even if I don't know it on stream. Even if I can't speak it on stream, because I'm brain. Tried to be there when I stream. I appreciate it. I do appreciate all of the support from you guys and the family and some of the people that usually pop by while I'm streaming. I can't put it into words. I expected to go into this literally alone. I didn't expect to have so many people behind me, and even though I might only get a few views and a few people watching me at a time, it's more than zero. And that's more than I could ever ask for. And even when I'm not streaming, you guys are there, and it's you're making it real fun. I really enjoy watching you guys too when I have the time. And with that, I guess it's time to say goodbye. And we're gonna do it quick, like ripping off a band-aid, because that's the only way I know how. That's the way I've decided to do my goodbyes. So, love you, bye.